So you've got a new field, first visit, and you don't know where to start. So I'm going to go through some methods of covering that field, finding where the hot spots are in a short space of time, so then maybe you can grid, and show you how to methodically detect a field. So there's different ways of doing it. So say that's a 50-acre field there. So some people do, is it the Union Jack? And they'll go from corner to corner, around the edges, and up and down like the England flag. Now what I like to do is, just so you can find where the best spots are quickly on day one, say the gate's here, I'll go zigzag. So this way you're covering the field quite quickly, and just say you get a hammered there, a coin there, artifact, and then you come down here and there's nothing, and then you come down here and there's a couple of bits. You'd think to yourself, okay, there is more activity down this side of the field. You could then, on your next visit, grid up and down, side to side, seeing what you get. If you get some good stuff, then you could always go over it and grid it that way, because with masking of targets, it can help if you change the angle of it in that target. Now, I'd run the detector, to be honest, I run the detector with no discrimination whatsoever, because you want to be reading the ground. So where there's more mineralization or there's more iron, that means that there's more activity. So if you have your discrimination wide open, so mine is 6.8 on the days 2, totally open all metal on the legend, no discrimination of numbers at all, and run it right open so you're reading the ground. So on some of my fields, the horse fields, so as you're going along, you can tell, just say the horses, they use a toilet. It's normally where the longer grass is. Where the longer grass is on a field is that the horses won't eat where they piss. So that'll be mineralization. And near gates as well, say near gates, as I'm zigzagging, I'm listening to the ground, you see, and I'm listening to where I might want to use a smaller coil. So say there was loads of iron around here, I'd think, right, that patch of land I'm going to hit with a smaller sniper coil. So you want to be able to wear the iron. Normally near gates, there'll be loads of signals near gates because it's a pathway, and just say there's a gate that side of the field and a gate that side of the field, you'll probably find that there's a lot of targets on a direct route from gate to gate. Now it's very important to have your detector wide open, because you want to be able to read the ground. Reading the ground tells you where people have been, you see. If you've got a ferrous discrimination, you're not going to be able to hear where there's been a lot of activity. So run your detector wide open. I run it wide open all the time. It's because when you start getting a lot of iron, you want to be adjusting your detector, your recovery, your reactivity. You want to be adjusting it, don't you? Because there's more targets, so you can get them masked targets out. Now on plowed land, you've got to remember the plow goes up and down. I'd do it differently on plowed land. Now the plow goes up and down, turns, drops everything off, turns, drops everything off, turns, drops everything off, drops everything off, drops everything off, all that way. So on plowed land, I would do the edges first and go around the perimeter, because that's when you lift the plow to turn, and then you put the plough back down. So everything ends up being around the edges. It can get dragged around the edges. Now doing the zigzag, it's just so you're not going for a day and you're starting at the wrong end of the field to then go over with a fine tooth comb and grid it out where the activity lies. You can use side-by-side maps. On side-by-side, you actually get LiDAR integrated into it, so you can have a map of your land from 1856, and then you can LiDAR it as well to go even older. Now this might be an obvious one to some, but you've got your field, you've got a big great tree there. That is a form of shelter from the sun and the rain, so that is a good place to start if you've got a tree on your field. There'll be loads of activity under there, people having picnics back in the day, taking shelter, and also as a landmark of a meeting place, the tree in that field. I'll meet you at the tree in that field. If there's a tree in the field, I'll be going through the gate and bam, I'll be going straight to the tree and doing that. Now if you put your eye down to the ground as well, if you're at ground level, you'll be able to see divots here and there. These are places where you want to be detecting, because over time people passing through obviously erode the ground. It should be like that. Now that's just the way I do it. I like to run the detector wide open and read what's going on in the field, and you can get a mental image of, right, there was a lot of activity over there, maybe there was a market or some kind of fun fair at the time. There's a row of activity going straight through, so that was a footpath or a bridle way. I was on a permission, me and my brother, you'll see it on the channel, where we had a coin shoot and I was on this permission, and one side of the field was absolutely peppered with coins. Now there's a village up this end and a village down that end, and I was thinking, mental image of, oh, it must have been a bridle way. And when I researched it, it was a bridle way from one village to the other. Now we had, on one day, I think my brother got 86 coins and I got 40 odd. And then on the next visit, same again. It was just absolutely chocker with coins down that area. Now there was a footpath, a small footpath, which in present day people used, but this ran to about 10 foot from that footpath right out. So if you've got a footpath, that you can picture a footpath, don't just detect on the footpath, cover 10 foot either side. And I go like this because a lot of people verged off the footpath. They didn't keep to a specific, this one had fencing down, but they wouldn't have been fencing at that time. It just would have been a shortest route from point A to point B, but people would have diverted and come across. So always 10 foot either side of the footpath. So I'd like to know how you detect a field, because it might open my eyes of a different way and to go over my old fields. So leave a comment on how you approach a field on your first outing. It could help out a lot of people that are just coming to metal detecting and just going in one spot and they're getting a couple of items in that day and they're fed up and they're thinking, I'm not going back to that field, and they haven't even touched the rest of the field. A tight zigzag, quite tight zigzag, up and down, find where the hot spots are, write them down, map them in your head, and then on your next visit, that's like your proper visit, because you've got an idea of where most of the items are coming up from doing the zigzag previously.